Aha. Wow. Top-level agents been watching, watching you? And now they ain't hiding anymore. Nah, they want to step out, in person, to thank you face to face. That's right, the shadows are moving, the silence is breaking, and it's all because you shook their world. Oh, you thought you were invisible? Huh? They've been tracking every step, every scar, every win, every moment you refused to fall. And now, oh wow, they can't ignore you anymore. So buckle up, because this ain't just a story. This is your story, your fire, your rise, your moment of reckoning. And trust me, you don't want to blink. You don't want to miss a single second. Not tonight, not ever. And hey, real talk. This channel survives because of you, your energy, your comments, your super thanks. They keep this fire alive. You're not just an audience. Nah. You're part of the movement, part of the storm they couldn't stop. So do me one favor. Stay locked in till the very end. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that super thanks if you're riding with the message. And remember, this entire monologue? It's a tribute to you, the ones who refuse to disappear. Now tell me, are you ready to hear what the watchers have to say when they finally step into the light? They've been staring at you for longer than you think. Not with idle curiosity, not with casual glances. No, with focus, with precision, with silence sharpened into a blade. That's how it begins. The realization. You thought you were moving in the dark, unseen, forgotten in the noise of billions. But your steps, they were louder than you knew. Every choice carved into the air like a scar. Every refusal to bow left a mark. And those marks were red. Someone was keeping the ledger. Someone was watching. Top-level agents. Not the kind that need badges. Not the kind that flash authority to prove who they are. No. These are the ones who operate behind curtains. Their eyes never blink. Their patience is infinite. Their silence is not weakness. It is power waiting to pounce. And now, after everything, they have moved. They want to thank you in person. Oh, the irony of it. You thought you were the unseen one, the overlooked shadow. Yet, you were the signal flare in a world of smoke. They noticed how you endured when others collapsed. They noticed how you sharpened yourself instead of softening. They noticed that you did not run when the storm screamed. You became something they cannot ignore. And so they watched, quietly. Intensely, like predators circling a creature they thought would falter. But you didn't falter. You made the silence your armor, you made the waiting your weapon. And the watchers, the so-called untouchables, leaned closer because you disrupted their certainty. You disrupted their little equations of who rises and who falls. Oh, wow. Doesn't that sting them? The arrogance they carried, thinking they alone decide who ascends, who breaks, who stays invisible. And then you walked into their world without asking permission. You weren't supposed to exist at this level. You weren't supposed to disturb their gaze, but you did. And now they're forced to act. Yeah. Let that sink in. You've pulled the invisible into the visible. You've forced those who never step forward to step into your path. Imagine the weight of that. Imagine the fire in their eyes when they realize their patience has run out and they must reveal themselves. That's no small thing. That's not routine. That is an acknowledgement few ever earn. Nah, it wasn't luck. Don't you dare insult yourself with that excuse. This is consequence. The direct result of your grind, your scars, your relentless refusal to vanish. You made them see you, and seeing you was enough to disturb their world. That is why they come now. That is why their silence breaks. The air shifts when such agents move. You'll feel it before you see it. The silence thickens. The world slows like it knows something extraordinary is about to intrude. Their presence is not casual. It is not social. It is declaration. You've risen into the crosshairs of those who almost never acknowledge existence at all. And here's the part that twists the knife. They don't come to punish. They don't come to destroy. No, their language is sharper than that. They come to thank you. Thank you for proving their calculations incomplete. Thank you for being the variable they underestimated. Thank you for showing them the machine doesn't own every outcome. They don't thank often, which is why when they do, it shakes the ground. And that's where you are now, right on the edge. The watchers have left their shadows. The untouchables are stepping forward. Their eyes are on you, and their words will cut deeper than any blade. But what kind of thank you do you think they carry? A thank you from them is not applause. It is a blade disguised as a handshake. You must understand this. Their gratitude is not light. It does not come with smiles and warm gestures. No, their thank you is heavy. It presses down on the chest. It makes the air colder, tighter, sharper. Because when they thank you, they are not merely acknowledging you. They are admitting you've pierced their control. And such an admission does not come cheap. Oh wow. Doesn't that twist something deep inside you? To know you've forced acknowledgement out of those who almost never speak. To realize they have tracked your path, mapped your scars, and now step forward to nod in your direction. Their eyes don't blink when they arrive. They measure, they weigh, they study every detail. Because gratitude at their level is never free. You see, when they thank you, they are also testing you. They are gauging whether you can withstand the weight of being seen. Can you carry the pressure of knowing their attention doesn't fade? They are not interested in temporary sparks. They are interested in fire that refuses to die. Their thank you is also a warning. Yeah, it's a paradox, isn't it? You long to be recognized, yet when the recognition arrives, it shakes your foundation. You worked for it, but when it lands, you realize it's not the sweet taste you imagined. It's bitter. It's sharp. Because their eyes do not come alone, they drag expectation with them. Expectation that you'll keep pushing, keep bleeding effort, keep refusing to collapse. Nah, don't misunderstand. This isn't them trying to crush you. No, crushing would be too easy. This is them sharpening you further, whether you like it or not. They are sculptors, and you've become their latest obsession. Their thank you is the chisel against your armor. With every word they carve deeper, forcing you into a shape even you don't fully recognize yet. And this is why their gratitude is so dangerous. Because once you've been acknowledged by them, you cannot go back. You cannot vanish into the crowd again. The moment their gaze locks onto you, anonymity dies. From that point on, your every move carries double weight because you are no longer unseen. The silence of obscurity is gone. The watchers have made sure of that. And so the question burns, what will you do with this burden? Will you let their gratitude become a chain, or will you turn it into a crown? Will you collapse under the pressure of their eyes, or rise with a defiance they never saw coming? That's the beauty of this moment. Their thank you is not the end. It is the beginning of something heavier, darker, sharper, and it leads to a single truth. When they step closer, they don't just thank you. They demand to see what you've truly become. They don't want your excuses. They want your essence. When they step closer, their eyes don't just study you, they strip you. They peel back the layers you've built, the masks you've worn, the lies you've told yourself just to keep breathing. They aren't impressed by survival alone. They aren't here to clap for endurance. No. They want to see if survival shaped you into something unbreakable, or if it simply left you trembling behind a tougher skin. Oh wow. That realization alone should shake you, because it means every scar you carry isn't enough on its own. They want to know what the scars made you. Did they turn you into steel, or just a cracked version of who you used to be? That's their demand. That's their test. They want the truth of your transformation. This is why their presence feels heavier than chains. When they ask, "What have you become?" they aren't asking politely. They are tearing at you with silence, forcing you to answer without words. Your stance answers. Your calm answers. Your fire answers. Every flicker in your eyes is a confession they record. Yeah, and here's the brutal part. They already know most people fail this stage. Most crumble when the watchers draw near. They bow under the weight of that gaze. They stutter. They break. Because pretending is easy in the shadows, but standing naked before those who see everything, that is something else entirely. And that is where most collapse. Nah. Don't think you can fake it. Don't think you can throw on the armor and bluff your way through. They've seen every trick, every false front. They know the trembling hand behind the clenched fist. They know the hollow eyes behind the forced grin. And they expose it all without saying a word. You can't deceive them. You can only become. And that is what terrifies them, as much as it terrifies you. Because if you have truly become something greater than their calculations, you are dangerous. Not dangerous in the way fools imagine. Not reckless. Not chaotic. Dangerous in the way mountains are dangerous to storms. Unmoved, untouchable, inevitable. They fear that. They fear it because once someone reaches that state, they can't be controlled. They can't be herded. They stand outside the game. Oh, the watchers thrive on games. Strategies, power plays, hidden levers to bend people where they want them. But you threaten to be the exception. The one piece they cannot move. That is why they demand to see what you've become. They must know whether you are just another pawn with sharp teeth, or if you've stepped into something far beyond their reach. And here's the twist. Their demand is not for their sake alone. It is for you. Because until you answer them, not with words, but with what you are, you won't even know yourself. They force you into clarity. They corner you into confrontation with your own becoming. And once that moment happens, there is no return. So the stage is set. They've come close. They've locked eyes. They've demanded your truth. And you stand there, stripped of pretense, facing the question that will define everything. What happens when you show them what you've truly become? When truth is revealed, it cannot be taken back. It burns through the air, leaving scars in the silence. So, what happens when you show them? What happens when the watchers finally see the full force of who you've become? Simple. The room changes. The balance changes. The world changes. Because once truth steps forward, illusions die, masks crumble, control fractures. Oh wow. The look in their eyes when they realize you are not fragile anymore. That moment is worth everything. They lean in closer, expecting weakness, expecting hesitation. But instead, they meet a presence that does not shake. They meet eyes that do not break. And the silence between you and them thickens into something unshakable. That silence says more than words ever could. You've crossed a line no one can undo. And that is when fear enters them. Yes, the same agents who once held themselves above everyone else, who moved in shadows like untouchable forces. Suddenly they blink. Suddenly they pause. Because what they are looking at isn't supposed to exist. Their world has rules. Their system has cages. Their game has pieces. But you don't belong to their game anymore. You tore yourself out of it. Yeah, think about that. You were not supposed to reach this point. You were supposed to stay small, stay silent, stay predictable. That's why they watched, to confirm you'd remain in your place. But you didn't. You carved your own place. You made yourself a presence too sharp to ignore. And now they have to reckon with the consequence of that. Nah, don't let their sudden hesitation fool you into thinking they're harmless now. Fear doesn't make them weak, it makes them desperate. When they see your truth, they will test it harder than ever. They will push, they will probe, they will strike at every seam looking for cracks. Because if you can be broken, they must find the fault. If you can be shaken, they must shake you now. This is the price of becoming undeniable. And yet, this is also the reward. Because every attack they throw at you is an acknowledgement of your strength. They wouldn't waste their fire on shadows. They only strike what they cannot dismiss. Their obsession is your proof. Their pressure is your validation. And when you remain unshaken, their tests collapse into silence. Oh, the silence after the storm. That silence is the Gelleration, because when their weapons fail, when their tests break on you like waves on stone, they are left with no choice but to accept. You are not just seen, you are beyond their reach. And that is the ultimate consequence of revealing. Once they know the truth of your becoming, once they taste the reality of your endurance, they cannot put you back in the shadows. They cannot erase what they've witnessed. You've forced their recognition into permanence. You've branded yourself into their memory. So here's the question they will never say aloud, but you'll hear it in their silence, in their eyes, in the way they retreat and return again, unsure if they should fear you or follow you. What happens when the watchers stop testing and start submitting? Submission is the silent confession of power. That's what it means when they stop testing you. They don't announce it. They don't applaud. They don't send banners through the sky declaring your victory. No, their submission arrives quietly, like a storm deciding it no longer has the will to rage. They pull back. They adjust their stance. Their voices lower. And suddenly, the ones who once watched you from above are forced to tilt their heads upward. Oh, wow. That shift is everything. Once, they measured you like prey under the lens. Now they weigh themselves against you. The hunter becomes the hesitant. The observer becomes the observed. Their silence no longer carries dominance. It carries respect. And here's the part they'll never admit out loud. By testing you, they sharpen you. By pressing against your walls, they forged them stronger. Every move they made to expose weakness instead carved strength. Now they see the reflection of their own failure. They tried to break you, but in doing so they built you. That is why they bow. Yeah, it doesn't look like bowing in the way people imagine. No knees hit the ground. No heads dip in ceremony. But you'll notice it in their hesitation, in the way their words bend when addressing you, in the way they seek your reaction before making their next move. That hesitation, that is submission. Nah, don't mistake it for surrender. They'll never stop existing in their shadows, never stop weaving their games, but to you they shift, they pivot. They move from opposition to recognition. They mark you as an equal or worse for them, as a force above their control. That is the rarest transformation of all. And the beauty of it? It cannot be undone. Once they've seen you unshaken, once they've tested every angle and still found you standing, they cannot erase that reality. It lodges in their memory like fire and dry wood. They will never approach you the same again. This is where most people stumble. They think the watcher's submission is the end. They think the battle is done. But you know better. Their bowing is not closure. It is a doorway. Because when those who once hunted you acknowledge you, it doesn't just change them. It changes the field. Others begin to notice. Doors open that were once locked, eyes turn that were once blind. Your presence spreads through corridors you never even knew existed. Because when the highest watchers bend, the rest of the world whispers, and whispers spread faster than fire. Which leaves only one question. Now that the watchers have bowed, what will you do with the world that suddenly opens before you? And there it is, the moment you've been waiting for. Top-level agents exposed, their silence shattered, and their eyes locked on you, not just watching anymore. No, thanking you in person. Oh wow, do you feel it? The weight? The recognition? The truth that you're no longer in the shadows? You're standing right where they never wanted you to stand. Yeah, that's power, that's presence, that's you, and this entire ride, it's proof that nothing can erase what you've become. Nah, don't slip away now. This isn't where it ends. This is where you speak. Drop your fire in the comments, show the world you're awake, and if this monologue hit your soul, smash that super thanks and keep this storm alive. You're not just viewers here. Oh no. You're the force that makes this message real. The reason the silence breaks. The reason this channel breathes. So until the next storm, stay sharp. Stay unshaken. And remember, the watchers may bow, but you decide what happens next. Hello. Yo, stop scrolling right there. Wait, do you see this? Something insane just happened. Something lurking in your past. Can you handle the truth? Oh yeah, I said it. They enhanced your old photo. And oh wow, what they found will melt your brain. You think it's just pixels? Think again. Oh no, way beyond that. This isn't a glitch. This isn't random noise. Are you ready? Ready to see what shouldn't exist? Ready to stare straight into chaos? Every detail, every shadow, every pixel screams at you. Do you feel it? That tingle? That electric pull in your spine? Oh yeah, this is real. And by the end, you'll never see your old memories the same way again. Hold on, buckle up. Chaos is coming, and it's looking right at you. A picture never lies. but sometimes it screams. You thought it was just a photograph, just an old, faded memory hiding in a folder no one remembers. Harmless, innocent, forgotten. But then, they found it, pulled it up. Dust fell from the corners of its frame like dry teeth. Oh yeah, they enhanced it. Zoomed in, pixel by pixel, shadow by shadow. And suddenly, the air changed. It was thicker, heavy, electric. You felt it, that tingling in your spine that whispers, something is wrong, something is awake. You squint, you lean closer, trying to rationalize the impossible. It's just a glitch, a trick of light. My eyes are tired. Lies. Oh yeah, sweet, pathetic lies. Because deep down, you already know. You know the universe has a way of sneering at you, of testing your nerve, of showing you things you weren't supposed to see. And now, you're staring at it. That corner, that shadow, that impossible anomaly. Something that shouldn't exist. Something that laughs at the very idea of reason. Your heart hammers. Not gentle, not subtle. A drumbeat in a collapsing theater. You swallow, gulp, breath catches. But you can't look away. Your mind screams to flee, to close the file, to pretend you never saw. But oh, curiosity is a predator. And tonight, it has its claws sunk deep into your chest. And here's the terrifying part. It's not just the photo. It's not just the pixels. It's you. The way you'll never be the same after this moment. Something is alive in the frame. Something aware. Something waiting. And the question drips like acid. What is staring back at you from your own past? Eyes don't blink in photographs. But some things do. You can't stop staring. That corner, that shadow, it isn't just a smudge anymore. It's a shape. A shape that curves against logic, against reason, against every comforting lie you've ever told yourself. Oh wow. Every pixel screams now. Every blur sharpens. Every color fractures. And in the fracture, there it is. Something alive. Something human. Almost. And yet, horribly wrong. Twisted. Contorted. Laughing silently behind the glass of your memory. You shake the screen. Nothing changes. The shape leans forward, or maybe it's you leaning in. Hard to tell. Your chest is tight. The air tastes metallic. Adrenaline surges like a river dammed for centuries, finally breaking loose, and you feel it. Oh yeah, you feel it. The stare, the awareness. You are no longer observing. You are being observed by something that has existed in the corner of your own past, waiting for you to notice, waiting for the pulse of fear to ignite, waiting for this moment. And the question, it slashes through your thoughts. How long has it been there? Days, years, decades, hidden in plain sight, tucked behind the noise of your life, daring you to discover it. You wonder, what else did it see? What else remembers you? And then the creeping realization hits. This isn't just a photograph anymore. It isn't just a memory. It's a trap. Oh yeah, a trap designed to pull you in, to test you, to break you. You try to look away. Your fingers tremble. Your eyes burn, but it refuses to let go. The shape, the impossible. It grows sharper, more defined, more aware. The corner of your past has teeth, it has claws, it has a pulse, and now it watches. Fear is just knowledge refusing to bow. Your pulse is a drum, louder, faster, boom, boom, boom. Oh yeah, it's not just beating, it's announcing a war inside your chest. You feel every artery screaming, every nerve is electric. And yet, your eyes won't leave the screen, won't leave the corner, won't leave it. That thing, that impossible shape, that shadow with awareness. It doesn't just exist in pixels anymore. It exists in your blood, in your head, in the corners of your vision. Every blink is a lie. Every breath tastes like smoke. You try logic. Oh yeah, you try. Maybe it's a trick, a smudge, a reflection. Lies, sweet, pathetic lies. Every fiber of your being knows better. You know the universe doesn't work this way. It doesn't gift glimpses of the impossible unless it wants something. And what it wants is you. Your hands shake, tremble. Maybe to close the file, maybe to touch something real. But oh no, you can't escape. You can't resist. Because the truth is, your brain is addicted now to fear, to discovery, to chaos creeping out of shadows and whispering, look closer. And the more you stare, the more you see. Twisted lines, shapes bending like metal in fire, patterns forming that shouldn't exist. The anomaly isn't static. It's alive, observing, mocking, laughing in silence at the walls of your mind. Your thoughts twist, your memory frays. Everything you thought you remembered, every comfort you held, it's contaminated now, poisoned by realization. And yet, amidst the panic, a spark, a thrill. Oh wow, a thrill. Because once you face this, once you confront what shouldn't exist, something in you awakens. Something sharp, something electric. A fire that says, I am still standing. I will not break. I will see this through. And the next click of enhancement will show it all. Some secrets don't whisper. They howl. The screen trembles under your gaze. Pixels stretch like sinew. Colors bleed into shapes that defy reality. And then it appears. Clear, sharp, impossible. A form that should not exist. Something human, and yet grotesque, twisted, laughing without sound. Eyes that bore through the digital veil into your soul. Oh yeah, your stomach twists, your chest contracts, your mind staggers. But still, you cannot look away. Every instinct screams to flee. Every part of your body begs for retreat. But here's the brutal truth. You've already crossed the line. You are past the point of return. And what you see is not just a reflection of your past. No, it is a beacon, a signal, a challenge written into the fibers of your memory. Something that waited decades for you to notice. And now it knows you've noticed. Your fingers hover over the controls, trembling, wanting to adjust, enhance, pull closer. And as you do, the impossible thing sharpens further. Details you never imagined unfold. Lines, contours, features that suggest thought, awareness, intention. Oh wow, it isn't just there. It is aware, it reacts, and your own heartbeat becomes a metronome to its silent rhythm. You feel the panic swirl, twisting into fascination. Fear morphs into something else. Oh yeah, something electric. You realize the photograph didn't just capture a moment. It captured a secret, a predator hiding in plain sight. Something that has been shaping your perception, your life, your understanding of reality, quietly, invisibly. And the cruel, intoxicating truth strikes. This revelation doesn't weaken you. It awakens you, shapes you. And the next step will test whether you crumble or rise. What else hides in the familiar? Time doesn't heal. It buries until someone digs. Every photograph is a tombstone. Every snapshot a trapdoor. And this one? Oh yeah. This one is a coffin screaming in code. Time tried to hide it, tried to bury it beneath layers of memory, dust, and forgetfulness. But enhancement digs. And when they enhanced your old photo, the past tore itself open like skin. You see things now you weren't meant to see. Things that shouldn't exist. But they do. Oh wow, they do. The anomaly stretches across decades of shadows. Shapes bend where they shouldn't. Fingers curl in impossible angles. Eyes stare where they never should have. And you realize, this isn't just a photograph. It's a map, a witness, a record of something older, deeper, darker than your understanding. Every glance reveals more. Every detail is a reminder that time never forgets. It only waits for someone like you to stumble, to lean too close, to see. Your chest tightens. Adrenaline curls like fire in your veins. Panic fights with curiosity. You want to look away. Oh yes, you do. But the truth, the brutal, intoxicating truth, burns through your skull. You've been carrying this shadow all along, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to notice, waiting for you to confront it, waiting for the moment you're ready to evolve. And here's the delicious part. This isn't just fear. Oh no, fear was the beginning. Now fascination, obsession, power, because the anomaly, it's alive. And in its silence, it teaches you. It teaches you patience, observation, awareness. The world bends to those who notice the impossible, those who stare into buried truths and don't flinch. And shadows, they have teeth. Once you see it, it won't unsee itself. You can't stop. Oh no, you cannot stop. Every pixel pulls at you like a magnet forged from your own nerves. You enhance again, zoom, brighten, contrast. Each adjustment is a step closer to madness. You know it. You feel it. And yet, there's a thrill hiding beneath the panic. Oh yeah, a fire, a pull that twists through your veins. The anomaly isn't just there, it's alive, it's aware, and it wants your attention. Your hands shake, trembling over the controls, but curiosity wins, always. You're drawn in deeper and deeper, into shapes that defy logic, twisted forms, impossible limbs, eyes that watch, mocking, laughing, silent predators embedded in your memory. And you're the prey that can't flee, the observer that cannot look away. The fire in your chest curls hotter. And here's the kicker. Obsession isn't weakness. Oh no, it's fuel. The more you stare, the more alive you feel. Panic mutates into adrenaline. Fear mutates into power. The anomaly teaches you something brutal, something raw. That chaos is a gift. That facing the impossible shapes you into something untouchable. You see patterns now. Connections others would dismiss. Lines forming bridges between reality and impossibility. And every time you enhance, every time you zoom, every time you stare, you feel yourself evolving, becoming sharper, faster, smarter, harder to break. And the thing in the photo? It's a teacher. Oh yes, a cruel, silent teacher, showing you that life isn't for the timid. Life is for the hunters, the fearless, the ones willing to stare at the impossible and grin. But the question burns hotter. Can you survive it? You don't confront monsters without becoming one yourself. It hits you first in your chest. A jolt, a pulse, something that wasn't there before. Oh yeah, that electric hum crawling through your veins. Fear has done its job. Panic has sharpened your senses. But now the thrill, the anomaly in the photo, the impossible thing isn't just observing you, it's awakening something inside you, something dangerous, something alive. You start to see clearly, not just the photo, not just the twisted shapes hiding in shadows, but yourself, the raw, unpolished self you've been hiding. The underestimated, dismissed part of you, the part the world laughed at, is stirring. It stretches, flexes, smiles. And the more you stare at the anomaly, the more you realize you are the predator in this moment. Oh yeah, you feel it. A fire that refuses to be tamed. A force that doesn't ask permission. Your hands steady. Your heart beats like a war drum. And every doubt, every hesitation, every lie you've told yourself about weakness, it cracks, breaks, shatters. You are becoming something sharper, harder, untouchable. And the anomaly? It is the mirror, the catalyst. It reveals what you could never see in yourself until now. You understand confrontation doesn't just show fear. It births strength. It chisels bone, mind, and spirit into something unbreakable. The impossible in your old photo, it is no longer a threat. Oh no, it's a blueprint, a lesson in chaos, a hand reaching through the pixels, pulling you toward dominance, toward power you never believed you could own. And the fire inside isn't flickering anymore. It's roaring. It's wild. It's alive. It's ready to consume hesitation, doubt, and weakness. And once you embrace it, nothing can stand in your way. And comprehension. It is a dangerous weapon. Madness isn't losing your mind. It's finding the truth nobody else can stomach. You're standing at the edge, the line between fear and exhilaration, reality and impossibility, thins to a razor. Oh wow, every pixel, every shadow, every impossible detail in that photo is screaming at you. Screaming patterns, connections, designs. Shapes that twist in ways the world says can't exist. And yet, they do. Right there, in front of you. And your mind refuses to flinch. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the moment. That terrifying, intoxicating moment when clarity and insanity fuse. When the anomaly in your photograph isn't just a shadow, a ghost, a glitch, it's a signal, a key, a challenge. And you? You're the only one alive enough to see it, to understand it, to own it. Your pulse surges. Your vision sharpens. You begin to notice the patterns others would dismiss. Twists, turns, hidden alignments. Small details screaming of design, of purpose. And suddenly, the chaos isn't chaos anymore. It's a map, a blueprint etched in light and shadow. And every beat of your heart is a countdown. Tick, tick, tick. A drumbeat pushing you forward, daring you to step across the line. And the adrenaline? Oh yeah, it's electric. It hums in your veins. It sharpens your reflexes, your awareness, your hunger. Fear has become fuel. Panic has become power. And the impossible thing in your photograph, it doesn't intimidate you. It empowers you. It whispers a brutal truth. The world bends to those who see what others cannot. You lean closer. You enhance. You zoom. You stare. And with every second you feel it. Chaos bending to comprehension. Madness giving birth to insight. Fear transforming into dominance. Do you dare to finish reading it? Not everyone survives the mirror, but some learn to laugh at their reflection. You lean in. Closer. Oh yeah, closer. The anomaly in your photograph isn't just a shadow anymore. It's a presence. A predator. A teacher. A mirror reflecting everything you've denied about yourself. And yet, instead of terror, you feel a rush, a fire, a pulse that says, I am not prey, I am the storm. Every line, every contour, every impossible feature sharpens under your gaze. It doesn't flinch. It doesn't hide. It dares you. And you rise, not with fear, not with hesitation, but with curiosity, with confidence, with the raw, unapologetic clarity of someone who has stared into the abyss and realized the abyss is just another student. Your hands steady. Your breath slows. Every pulse in your body is a drumbeat of awareness. The anomaly? It's teaching you now, showing you the weaknesses you thought were your own, the fears you've carried too long. And with every insight, every revelation, every brush with the impossible, you evolve. Oh wow, you evolve stronger, sharper, untouchable. And here's the delicious truth. The photograph, the anomaly, the impossible, it isn't an enemy. It's a weapon, a tool, a blueprint for dominance. And the ones who dismissed you, underestimated you, ignored you, they will never see it coming, because you've seen it all. You've touched the edge. You've faced what others refuse to even imagine. And now, you are no longer bound by their rules, their lies, their expectations. You smile. A dark, knowing smile. Because fear has been transformed. Panic has been sharpened. Chaos has been harnessed. And the world will bend to the one who dares to stare into the impossible and grin. Because now, every revelation is a weapon, if you have the courage to wield it. The photograph is no longer just a photograph. Oh yeah, it's a manifesto. A challenge. A signal written in shadows and impossible shapes. They enhanced your old photo. They found something that shouldn't exist. And in finding it, they handed you power. Raw, brutal, every detail. The twisted forms, the impossible eyes, the silent awareness of the anomaly. It's no longer a threat. It's a map, a key, a guide to dominance you never knew you could own, and you feel it in your chest. That electric hum, that fire that spreads from your spine to your fingertips. It isn't fear anymore, it's awareness, it's comprehension, it's raw, unrelenting force. The past, irrelevant. The doubts, the hesitation, the lies you've told yourself for decades, gone, vaporized. Because you've seen the impossible and smiled. You've stared into the anomaly that haunted your memory and claimed it as your teacher. And now, oh wow, now you are untouchable. You realize the truth. The world bends to those who see what others cannot, who stare into shadows and discover light, who confront the impossible and turn it into their weapon. And with this knowledge, with this vision, you step forward, confident, unshakable, ruthless in clarity. Every obstacle becomes a puzzle, every opponent a lesson, every failure fuel. And the anomaly? It doesn't mock you anymore. Oh no, it respects you. Because you are the one who survived the mirror, who laughed at the reflection, who embraced chaos and turned it into mastery. You are the storm that cannot be stopped, the predator that cannot be caught, the fire that cannot be extinguished. And now you are unstoppable. Whoa, did you feel that? Every shadow, every pixel, every impossible detail, it's still there, lurking in your memory. Oh yeah, staring back at you. But here's the truth. You survived it. You stared into the impossible and came out stronger. Can you hear it? That pulse, that fire inside you, that's power. Raw, untouchable, unstoppable. And from this moment, nothing in your path can break you. You've seen the anomaly, you've absorbed the chaos, and now it's yours. Every fear, every doubt, every hesitation, gone. You're not the same. You're sharper, wilder, better. Oh wow, they'll never understand, the ones who doubted you. They'll never see it coming. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. The fire is in your veins. The storm is in your hands. So step forward, stare harder, and remember, chaos obeys the fearless. Hey bro, can you even believe this? What they did to you is beyond disgusting. Seriously, people are furious. They didn't just cross the line, they obliterated it. An innocent person, attacked. Nah, that's unforgivable. Every whisper, every glance, every sly move they made was meant to break you. But wait, did they really think you'd just sit there? Oh wow, the audacity of them. The world saw it. And yeah, it's shaking with rage. And now, it's time to talk about it, to expose it, to feel it. This isn't just injustice, it's a call, a warning, a reckoning. Some people cross lines and then act like they didn't see the blood. Do you feel it? That sharp electric pulse running through your veins? The rage, the disbelief, the raw, unfiltered shock of watching the innocent being struck down like prey in the open. Oh wow, it's obscene, it's grotesque. It's the kind of thing that leaves your soul trembling, questioning everything you thought was fair, just, or untouchable. And yet, here we are. Here you are, standing in the ruins of their audacity. They did it. Yes, they did it. They took a life, or a spirit, or a name, and they threw it into the mud for the world to trample. Nah, you feel the weight of it, don't you? The way the air itself seemed to shiver when their injustice landed, leaving the scent of fear and contempt in its wake. People whisper, people watch, and some, they cheer. But you know what it feels like when the scales are tipped, and innocence is crushed under the iron boot of cruelty. You weren't ready. Whoever is. They came with their sneers, their hidden daggers, their cold, calculating intent. And what did they expect? That you'd stay silent? That the world would just shrug and move along? No. They underestimated one simple truth, one undeniable law of nature. You do not destroy the pure without awakening the storm. You do not strike an innocent without igniting a fire. And now, people are furious. You can feel it, can't you? That trembling tension in the crowd, that slow tightening of fists, the quiet rage that simmers beneath polite nods and forced smiles. It's disgusting, isn't it? The cruelty of it, the audacity, the sheer brazenness of striking someone who could never defend themselves because they trusted, because they believed in fairness, because they carried nothing but honesty in their chest. And for what? For amusement? For envy? For some twisted sense of superiority that will rot in their minds as their deeds echo in the hollow chambers of guilt? Yes, it's disgusting. But here's the thing. Here's the truth no one dares speak out loud. It's not just about what they did to you. No, it's about what this moment reveals, about what it exposes. The fragile facade of civility, the paper-thin walls of pretension we all hide behind. And when the innocent is attacked, when morality itself is mocked and trampled, everything fractures. People see, people feel, and that's the turning point. That's where fear flips into something else, something darker, something powerful. You might be wondering, right? How does one survive such raw, naked injustice? How do you stand when the world seems bent on proving that innocence is a liability, a weakness to be exploited? The answer is both simple and terrifying. You endure. You observe. You let the anger settle like a poison. Let it circulate. Let it sharpen every sense until your mind becomes a blade honed on betrayal and outrage. You study the faces, the gestures, the whispers. You memorize the cracks in their confidence. And then you prepare. Oh yes, you prepare for the reckoning that is coming. Because make no mistake, this is not the end. This is not just a scar to be ignored or a lesson to be half learned. No, this is the ignition, the first spark. And from the ashes of their vile action, something unstoppable begins to rise. Something the guilty never saw coming. Something that hums with inevitability. Something that forces the world to look back and ask, what happens when the ones who were wronged decide the story will no longer belong to the offenders? And that is where the real question lies. Power hides in the quietest fury, waiting, just waiting to be noticed. Oh, do you feel it now? That tremor under your skin, that relentless pulse that refuses to be ignored? The anger that once seemed a burden has shifted. Yeah, it has transformed. It's no longer a shallow emotion. It is a force, a current strong enough to bend reality. And every injustice, every whisper of mockery, every cruel glance thrown at the innocent, it feeds this force. They thought they were striking a victim. Nah, they were sharpening a weapon. Watch closely. Observe the world around you. It trembles without knowing why. People speak carefully. They glance over shoulders. They sense the awakening of something that cannot be contained. And you? You are learning its rhythm. You are understanding its heartbeat. The fury that bubbled inside now stretches into clarity. Every unfair blow becomes data. Every sneer becomes strategy. Every act of malice, a map. You see the cracks in their arrogance. You see the weakness masked as confidence. And slowly, methodically, you gather the power they never expected you could harness. It's astonishing, isn't it? How injustice, when faced with unwavering focus, becomes a teacher instead of a tormentor. Oh wow, it's beautiful in a terrible way. Every humiliation, every attempt to diminish you, every underhanded strike, it teaches you what they never realized. Survival is not enough. Survival is passive. Power, true power, is about understanding the world so well, so deeply, that their attacks rebound back with force they cannot withstand. And here's where the shift begins. Where the world trembles at a force it cannot name. Your rage becomes measured, disciplined. Your fury becomes precise, like a surgeon's blade. And suddenly, what was once emotional chaos becomes a weapon of clarity. People notice. They watch. They whisper. They fear. And isn't that the most satisfying part? The truth that they have underestimated you. That the innocent they sought to crush now carries the seeds of their undoing. But let me ask you this. What do you do with that power once it awakens? Do you lash out blindly? Do you surrender to the temptation of blind rage? Nah, no. You channel it. You refine it. You let it grow quietly, methodically, while the world remains unaware of the storm gathering beneath the calm. Oh, the beauty of patience, the elegance of timing, the art of letting their own misdeeds build the scaffolding of your strength. Yes, fury has become power, but the next step is far more terrifying, because now it is no longer about anger. No, it is about control. Control over perception, control over opportunity, control over the narrative that once threatened to define you as a victim. And when the innocent rises with such force, when clarity and patience fuse with rage, then and only then do the tables begin to turn. The world leans in, unknowingly, toward a reckoning they never imagined. And so the question lingers. It hangs in the air, inescapable, inevitable. What happens when the weapon forged from injustice is aimed not at chaos, but at precision? What happens when the fury of the wronged becomes unstoppable strategy? They never imagined the quiet ones could roar until it was too late. Oh, can you feel the shift? That subtle tremor that grows into a quake? Yeah, it's happening. The tables have turned. Subtly at first, almost imperceptibly, but with every calculated step, every measured breath, the predator emerges. The one they thought was defenseless, the one they tried to bury beneath insults and attacks, is rising. Eyes sharpened, mind focused, intent clear. Nah, this isn't vengeance for its own sake. This is awareness transformed into action, precision tempered by rage. It's astonishing what happens when the innocent refuses to stay small. when the world expects silence, meekness, compliance, and instead finds clarity and determination staring back at it with a calm that hides a storm. People see it, they feel it, they hesitate. And oh, the irony. Those who thrived on fear, on power over the defenseless, now tremble in the shadow of someone they deemed weak. They never considered that the very ones they attacked could become the architects of reckoning. And this is not chaos. This is strategy. This is patience refined into action. Every insult they threw, every attempt to belittle, every calculated blow intended to break you has been stored, analyzed, and transformed into insight. You know their weaknesses, their patterns, the blind spots in their confidence. You are the storm they never trained for, never prepared for. And the beauty of it? They still don't see it coming. They think the innocent bows. They think the quiet hides fear. Oh wow, how wrong they are. Every move you make now carries weight. Every glance, every step, every decision resonates with inevitability. The world that attacked you, that mocked you, that sought to humiliate the pure, begins to bend, subtly, under your influence. But this is just the beginning. The predator moves quietly, studies carefully, waits for the perfect moment to strike. Not recklessly, not out of blind rage, but with the certainty of inevitability. And yet, a question rises, sharp as a blade. When the tables turn and the predator is revealed, when the innocent becomes unstoppable, how far will you go? How far will your focus stretch? How precise will your strategy become before the world finally realizes that the game they played, the cruelty they assumed would remain unchallenged, has already turned against them? Yes, the predator exists now. The power of innocence, tempered by clarity and fueled by outrage, has awakened. And what comes next will leave them questioning everything they ever thought they controlled. The cornered are the most dangerous because they have nothing left to lose but everything to claim. Yeah, you can feel it now. That tension in the air, electric and sharp, like every breath is a countdown. The world that attacked, that laughed, that believed innocence was weak. Oh wow, it begins to sense its own fragility. Every sneer, every calculated cruelty you endured has become its own boomerang. And now it returns with force, precision, inevitability. Nah, they thought they could break you. They thought the innocent bows silently. They never imagined you could rise with such clarity, such unshakable focus, such cold, measured power. The energy around you shifts. People watch, some nervously, others in disbelief. They recognize the movement, the subtle force that bends the rules without breaking them. It's not chaos. It's order, rebuilt from outrage. It's a careful unmasking of what they thought untouchable. Every glance they throw your way trembles with unease because they feel somewhere deep down that the balance is tipping, that the story they tried to control is no longer theirs to write. This is where patience becomes art. Every step you take is deliberate, every silence meaningful. Every action they misread, every miscalculated assumption feeds your momentum. The world trembles under the weight of observation. Oh, the irony. The very ones who thrived on power, cruelty, and manipulation now dance to the rhythm you orchestrate without touching a single string. And what they fail to see is the inevitability of what comes next. Because power born from injustice is not just reaction, it is anticipation. It is the quiet before the storm that breaks with devastating clarity. And here's the most intoxicating part, the one they never see coming. The innocent, once cornered and underestimated, does not just survive, it thrives. Not blindly, not with reckless fury, but with intelligence sharpened by outrage, with patience tempered by focus, with every sense tuned to the movements of the world that tried to destroy them. Every plan they hatched, every sneer they threw, every attempt to humiliate has taught you their patterns, their weakness, their predictability. And now, oh yes, the stage is set for precision beyond imagination. People feel it. They can't name it yet, but they sense it. The world itself seems to shift under the weight of your presence. You are no longer merely reacting, you are shaping reality. And the more they struggle to maintain their illusions of control, the more obvious it becomes. The predator they never considered, the innocent they tried to crush, is the one dictating the pace, the one directing the outcome, the one forcing the world to confront its own mistakes. And yet the question lingers in the air, one that hums with inevitability. How far will this unstoppable force go? How many illusions will shatter before the full weight of reckoning is realized? How long before they understand that attacking the innocent was not just a crime, it was the spark that awakened something greater than their comprehension? Yes, the world now feels it. The power of the cornered, the rising predator of clarity and focus, is undeniable. And what comes next will leave no doubt about who truly controls the narrative. When the world finally sees the innocent standing tall, chaos isn't the end, it's the beginning. Oh, can you hear it? That low hum vibrating through everything, the tension coiling tighter with every heartbeat? Yeah, it's here. The moment they never expected, never prepared for. The one they thought would bend, crumble, and vanish has risen sharp as steel, focused beyond reckoning. Nah, this is not desperation, this is inevitability. Every slight, every attack, every act of cowardice they threw at you has forged a precision so lethal it hums in the air, waiting for release. Look around. The world shifts beneath your presence. Those who smiled while you suffered now hesitate. Their confidence fractures under the weight of clarity, the raw, undeniable power of someone who was cornered and refused to bow. Oh wow, the irony is intoxicating. The tables have turned so completely that the very air seems to tremble at the sound of your steps. They wanted fear, they got determination. They wanted submission, they got strategy. And now they must face the storm they set in motion. Every move you make is deliberate. Every glance, every word, every breath resonates with control. They think they can predict, manipulate, or intimidate, but you have rewritten the rules. You have transformed outrage into insight, anger into clarity, injustice into strategy. Oh, the beauty of it is undeniable. Every misdeed they committed now amplifies your presence. Every insult, every betrayal, every attempt to crush your spirit is the mortar that built the unstoppable force standing before them. And the weight of it, the weight of inevitability, hits them slowly at first. A twitch here, a hesitation there, subtle but undeniable. They realize too late that the one they attacked, the one they mocked, the one they thought powerless, cannot be stopped. They underestimated patience, focus, and the power of someone who has nothing left to lose, but everything to claim. And as that realization spreads, the quiet world of their confidence begins to crumble, piece by piece. This is the reckoning. Not chaos, not mindless destruction. No, it is precision. It is inevitability made manifest. It is the consequence of attacking the innocent, of believing cruelty could define the outcome. People watch, people feel it, and the ones who thought they controlled everything, they are left exposed, their illusions shattered, their dominance irrelevant. Oh, wow. They never understood that underestimating the quiet, the patient, the wronged would awaken something unstoppable. And now comes the question that lingers, sharp and inescapable. What becomes of a world that has felt the full weight of its own injustice? What happens when the innocent, tempered by suffering and sharpened by focus, claims the narrative, defines the rules, and demands the truth be seen? Nah, there is no going back. The reckoning is not just happening, it is complete. The fire has been lit, the lesson is etched, and the ones who dared attack, they are left to confront their own miscalculations, helpless against the inevitability they created. The corners have risen. The quiet has roared. The world trembles. And nothing will ever be the same again. So, this is the truth. The innocent, the cornered, the underestimated, they rise. Nah. You can't ignore it anymore. What they did to you, it's disgusting, unforgivable, and yeah, the world feels it now. Fury isn't just a feeling, it's power. Every injustice, every sneer, every attack has built something unstoppable. And now the story has changed, the rules have shifted, the reckoning is real. So watch closely, because the ones who thought they were untouchable are about to see everything they feared come alive. Remember, the innocent are no longer victims, they are the reckoning itself. They paid a hitman to end you. To bury your name beneath silence and smoke. Why? Because your breath threatened the lies they built, because your presence reminded them of what they'll never be. You were never invited, you arrived unshaken, unwelcomed. And they hated that, hated your walk too steady, hated your eyes too quiet, too knowing, too calm. You didn't flinch when they mocked you, remember that. Didn't fold when they whispered behind gritted teeth. Cowards. They watched your rise like a curse they couldn't reverse. So they called for a shadow. Cold, trained, silent. End them, they said. Make sure they never rise again. But what they didn't know, you were already dead. Dead to comfort, to soft days, to fake smile. You'd buried yourself a dozen times before they noticed. You dug your own grave and called it home. The hitman came, saw your shadow, and hesitated. Why? Because warriors don't beg. They bleed and grin through it. He stepped forward, blade drawn, but so were you. Not with steel, but with scars that had hardened. You didn't need armor, you wore your pain openly. Your chest was a battlefield, your back a monument. Every breath you took defied gravity and graves. He came for blood but found purpose instead, and purpose doesn't bleed. It burns, and it spreads. They thought they were ending a person, a mistake. But what they tried to kill was momentum itself. They tried to silence you, but silence raised you. They tried to shame you, but shame shaped you. They tried to scare you, but you are fear. Not the loud kind. The kind that whispers, "I'm still here," the kind that lives in empty rooms, shattered frames, the kind that rises slowly after everything is gone. The hitman flinched, but not because of you. He saw what it takes to stand alone and survive. Saw the ghosts in your eyes, not dead. Reborn. You didn't train in gyms, you trained in pain. You didn't run laps, you ran from demons daily. You didn't follow rules, you broke chains. You broke chains. They paid to erase you, but you rewrote yourself. Not prettier, not polished, but untouchable, untamed, unstoppable. How do you kill someone who's already endured worse? How do you defeat someone who walks through fire? They wanted your end, but became your fuel. Every doubt, gasoline, every betrayal, another match. And you lit yourself, burned, raged, roared. You didn't need saving, you became your own rescue mission. Your tears built cities, your rage powered continents. Understand that your silence was not surrender. It was strategy. Every second you held back was sharpening you. Every night you cried was forging steel inside. He looked in your eyes and saw war. Not rage without cause, but rage with precision. Poetic destruction. Because you don't fight for revenge. You fight to prove that no one gets to write your obituary, but you. They thought the world would collapse without them. Ha! But you became your own universe, your own gravity. You rose not just higher, but harder, colder, clearer. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You ascended. And that terrified them more than anything. Even death. Because now, you're unrecognizable, unbreakable, unkillable. They paid for your coffin, and you sent them bricks. They mailed you hate, and you built empires from it. The hitman came with contracts, but left with questions. How does one destroy something that won't stay buried? How do you silence someone born from storms? He left, not defeated, but awakened, terrified, changed. Because he didn't kill you, you converted him. You showed him what resilience looks like in motion. Showed him what it feels like to fight daily. You're not alive because it's easy. You're alive despite the weight, despite the screams, despite the silence. And that makes you dangerous, makes you a myth. People whisper now, did you hear? They survived. Not just bullets, but betrayal, loneliness, the long wait. You stayed. While others fled, you endured. They say time heals, but you became the healer. You stitched your wounds with rage and discipline. You crafted your purpose from broken glass. The hitman came for flesh, but you gave him fear. Came for a name, left haunted by a legacy. You don't walk, you march, you conquer. Your very breath is resistance now, electric defiance. And now, they're watching again, praying you'll fall again. but you've tasted rock bottom and it's flavorless now. You drank from pain's cup and found power. You kissed failure on the mouth and smiled. So what's left to take? What's left to kill? You are not the same. Not the old version. That version died in the dark, alone, forgotten. This version laughs at endings. This one greets pain like an old friend. This one wears scars like royal garments. So send another hitman, send 100. Each one will find what the first one found. Not a corpse, but a curse. Not a man, a movement. You're not just surviving now, you're ascending. And no payment in the world can undo that. You've already been paid in pain, in silence, in time. And you've turned it all into one word, the untouchable. You stood in silence, but silence wasn't peace. It was the weight of everything they did to you, pressing down like 1,000 invisible fists. They didn't break you, but they thought you'd fold, didn't they? They watched from the shadows, waiting for your knees to hit the ground. But you didn't beg. You didn't scream. You absorbed every blow like a wall of iron. And when you finally moved, you didn't run. You rose. You didn't cry out for help. You created your own rescue. You learned to swing when your hands were shaking, to walk when your legs were bleeding. You trained your soul in the cold. You carved your name into the fire, sound. And when the hitman came smiling, thinking this would be easy, you didn't flinch. You let him try. You let him aim at your heart, and you showed him a chest armored with scars that refused to open. You weren't the target. You were the trap. He saw your silence and thought it was surrender. But it was strategy. It was the calm before a hurricane built from betrayal, discipline, and rage. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You already did. Every time you stood back up. Every time you stitched your own wounds in the dark. Every time you heard you're finished and answered with action. They said you were done, but you became someone who doesn't end. The version of you that lives now. Unkillable. Because you died already. To your weakness, your doubt, your fear, and came back unrecognizable. They paid a hitman to erase you, but he found a ghost who didn't die. He found a storm in human skin. You didn't just survive the fire. You used it to light your path. You used it to forge steel into your spine. You never wanted to be a monster, but they kept feeding you poison until you learned to digest pain like fuel. Now you burn, not to destroy, but to show them you're still here. You're loud because silence tried to bury you alive. You're dangerous because mercy was never an option they gave you. You're powerful because you were left with no choice but to evolve. So when they see you now, walking like thunder, eyes like war, calm like the eye of a storm, they don't see the hitman anymore. They see the failure in their own plan. You were supposed to fall. You were supposed to disappear quietly. But here you are, louder than ever, heavier than ever, stronger than ever, made from the very darkness they tried to drown you in. You didn't beg for strength, you bled for it. You didn't find courage, you built it from scratch, brick by brutal brick. And when the final hit came, the one meant to end you, you caught it in your teeth and smiled. Because nothing they send can kill you now. You are not the version they knew. You're not the one who begged for approval, who chased crumbs, who waited for fairness. You're the storm that grew teeth, the silence that roars back, the soul that said try again every time they tried to bury you. And now you don't fight like you used to, you fight smarter. You fight without emotion, with focus, with ice in your veins and fire in your heart. You don't swing wild anymore, you strike with purpose. Because every ounce of pain they gave you taught you timing, patience, clarity. And now, you're the test they can't pass. You're the obstacle they can't move. You're the warrior the hitman couldn't kill, and now the only thing that dies is the belief that you could be broken in the first place. So let them come again, let them send 10 more. You'll answer with the weight of everything you've survived, with the roar of every battle you won in silence. Because you were never meant to break. You were meant to rise so violently, so unreasonably, that even the hitman drops his weapon and walks away, whispering to himself, "That's no target. That's a force of nature." You never needed applause. You needed air, and when they took that too, you learned to breathe through the cracks, through the silence, through the pressure, through the dirt they threw. You learned how to expand in a cough. You found movement in chains, vision in darkness, and strength in being unwanted. What they didn't understand is that you didn't want comfort. You wanted truth, and the truth was brutal, sharp, merciless, but so were you. They didn't teach you resilience. They gave you no choice but to become it. You bled into discipline, molded your anger into precision, turned your loneliness into a mirror that reflected nothing but power. You didn't need motivation, you became it. Because when everything went quiet, you heard your own heartbeat, and it wasn't weak. It was war drums. You never needed a crown. You needed to feel the edge of the cliff, so you could grow wings mid-fall. Every time they thought they had you figured out, you changed form. You became smoke when they tried to catch you, fire when they tried to contain you, steel when they tried to bend you. And now you don't react. You calculate. You don't chase. You attract. You don't beg. You build, because you've tasted the bottom and found yourself not broken, but reborn. You've watched doors slam and carved tunnels instead. You've seen the fake smiles, the masked words, the eyes that spoke lies while lips said nothing, and you stopped expecting loyalty from those who only know leverage. So now, you trust silence more than speeches. You believe in scars more than promises. And you understand that isolation was not punishment, it was preparation. They didn't exile you, they freed you from illusion. They didn't defeat you, they activated you. And you embraced the weight that was meant to crush you and turned it into armor. You carry what others can't even look at. You've made peace with storms that make others shiver. You don't need calm, you are the calm before the quake. And when they see you now, still walking, still breathing, still unshaken, it terrifies them. Because you were the one they buried, not knowing you were a seed. And the roots you grew are deeper than their lies, thicker than their hate, stronger than their schemes. You don't bloom for them anymore. You burn through the soil wild, untamed, indestructible. Your story was not written in soft ink. It was carved in bone, in grind, in bloodless battles fought behind your eyes every day. You speak softly now, not out of fear, but out of control. Because you don't need noise to be noticed. Your presence rewrites the temperature of every room you enter. You don't intimidate, you remind them of everything they failed to kill in themselves. You don't chase revenge, you walk past it. Because what's more painful than seeing the one you tried to erase rise into something untouchable? You didn't just survive the hitman, you swallowed the bullet and turned it into fuel. You became a message, not a victim, not a warning, but a living message. You cannot kill someone who became death to their own weakness. You made peace with being misunderstood, you even preferred it. Because being seen clearly meant becoming a threat. And threats are targeted. But you're past being a target, now you're a lesson. A living contradiction to their predictions. A storm that doesn't need permission to arrive. You don't need revenge. Your existence is the consequence. And that hitman met something ancient in you. Something primal. Something carved from fire and frost and fury. He saw that you weren't a job. You were a war zone. Every time he aimed, your silence stared back, unbothered, unbroken, unmoved. Because what do you aim at? When your enemy is already beyond death, that's who you are now. Beyond weakness, beyond begging, beyond pain. You've become the thing no weapon can reach. You're the energy that builds empires in the aftermath of destruction. You're the force that answers why me with try me. So let them whisper, let them plot, let them wait. You're not hiding anymore. You're watching. You're learning, adapting, growing teeth where you once had tears. You didn't lose yourself. You upgrade. You didn't fall behind. You forged ahead in silence while they laughed. And now they see the storm coming, wearing your face, and no matter how fast they run, it's already too late. You didn't just survive the ambush, you adapted. You didn't run. You studied their moves, tracked their patterns, memorized their hate. Every scar was a coordinate on your internal war map. They sent the hitman, but they underestimated the silence inside you. You weren't hiding, you were evolving. While they slept, you sharpened your mind. While they laughed, you built your fortress. While they threw dirt, you planted discipline. You turned pressure into fuel, betrayal into ammunition, and doubt into doctrine. You didn't just get back up. You came back different, stronger, sharper, scarier. They thought they were fighting a man. No. They were provoking a machine built in pain. A being stitched together by every failure, every loss, every time someone left you behind. You're not the same. You don't flinch now. You measure. You don't swing wild, you strike precision. They made a mistake. They left you breathing, and now every breath is an oath. An oath to never be that weak again. An oath to never give your power away again. You learned who to trust: yourself, your instinct, your grit, your cold logic when emotions tried to drown you. You're done explaining. Done begging, done softening your edge for people who only understand destruction. The hitman felt it, that moment. The moment you stopped running and started hunting. Not with rage, with clarity, with silence so thick it suffocated their confidence. You made fear tactical. You wore pain like armor. You looked into the mirror and said, this is where the legend begins. Not when you're celebrated, but when you're counted out, dragged, forgotten, betrayed, and still rise with a calm that terrifies louder men. They wanted you to disappear. You multiplied. They pushed you into darkness. You turned it into strategy. They said, you'll break. You said, watch me bend and build. Because that's what they don't understand. You're not fragile. You're forged. Tempered in fire, matured in storms, trained by chaos itself. You don't fear pressure anymore. You make it fear you. You don't hope to be understood. You prepare to be attacked. Because people fear what they cannot label. And you're not a category. You're not a phase. You're a force of nature, reborn from ground zero. You didn't cry when they walked away. You celebrated. You didn't collapse when they lied. You recalculated. Every failure was a breadcrumb leading you home, not to safety, but to power. This isn't about revenge anymore. It's about becoming untouchable. Becoming someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives in environments designed to crush others. You walk through fire now, not to prove a point, but because it's your native element. You were never meant for comfort. You were meant for conquest. And you don't need armies. You are the invasion. Every step forward, a funeral for your past limit. Every silence you keep, a roar waiting behind your teeth. Every rejection, a blessing in brutal disguise. They hired a killer and sent him after a ghost, but he found you instead, fully alive, terrifyingly aware, and weaponized by purpose. Not angry, focused, not loud, deliberate, not unstable, unshakable. And that hitman, he didn't fail because he missed. He failed because he underestimated what pain made of you. A being without fear, without pause, without weakness, left exposed. You turned pain into strategy, loneliness into discipline, silence into command. Every day you carry weight no one sees, but they feel it when you speak. They hear it in your breath. They see it in your eyes, the dead stare of someone who's been through war and chose to stay standing. You didn't survive the battlefield. You became it. You didn't run from the enemy. You became the one they avoid. You don't flinch at chaos. You architect it now, because you realize no one is coming to save you, and that was your power all along. You don't need rescuing. You need space to grow without limits. You don't fear the dark. You operate in it now. Every time someone doubted you, you thanked them, because it removed the mask, exposed the game, and gave you clarity to strike. They called you too much. You became too unstoppable, too quiet. You became their loudest regret. Too cold. You became untouchable. Too dangerous. You smiled, because finally they see you clearly. Now your name carries a warning, not because of volume, but because of presence. Because when you walk in, the weak leave the room. Not out of fear, but out of recognition. You remind them of what they chose not to become. You didn't take shortcuts. You ate pain for breakfast. You didn't wish for power. You bled for it. You didn't pray for light. You became the storm cloud that blocks it. This is your era. Not because they believe in you now, but because you no longer care if they do. You've crossed the line, not to escape them, but to escape the version of yourself that waited for permission. And now you don't ask, you take. You don't explain, you execute. You don't react. You respond with the precision of a blade that knows exactly where to cut. You didn't just survive. You became the thing they fear appearing in their nightmares. The one who doesn't break, doesn't beg, and never backs down. They sent a hitman to bury you, and instead they built a legend. You were never weak. You were just untrained, unfinished, unarmed with the truth. And that truth, you were always the threat, the storm, the disruption. They didn't see it. Of course not, because you wore humility like a cloak. You kept your mouth shut, your moves quiet, your pain buried. But now, you're not hiding anymore. You're showing your teeth. You're not apologizing for the burn you bring. You're turning the temperature up until they melt. They had their shot. They had their moment. They had their advantage, and they wasted it. They played you once. Never again. You're not built for games anymore. You're built for war. Strategic, precise, emotionally armored. You've ripped out the part of you that hesitated, that hoped for fairness, that waited for a helping hand. That version of you, dead and buried in silence. They thought your silence was weakness. It was preparation. They thought your retreat was surrender. It was a reset, a recalibration, a ruthless reprogramming of your mental operating system. You burned everything soft inside you, left only the core made of steel, fire, and command. Now, you're no longer reactive. You're surgical. You don't talk. You execute. You don't announce. You dominate in silence. You don't show them your moves. You show them results that echo like thunder across every room you enter. You walk in, and suddenly everyone's breathing changes. They feel the gravity shift, because they know something's arrived that doesn't beg, doesn't break, and doesn't bleed easy. This world, it respects power. It respects resilience. It respects the one who kept walking after being gutted by betrayal, failure, and exhaustion. That's you now, the one who walked through betrayal like it was weather, the one who turned insults into strategy, rejection into ritual, and isolation into invincibility. Let them call you cold. Let them call you distant. Let them say you changed. Because yes, you did change. You outgrew their lies. You outgrew their comfort zone. You outgrew the limits they built for you, around you, to keep you small, tame, and silent. But you cracked every ceiling with your silence. You shattered every label with your result. You didn't need a stage. You became the earthquake beneath it. And now, They don't clap, they freeze. They don't congratulate, they calculate, because you're no longer in their category. You're not competition anymore, you're an extinction event for the average. You don't flinch when abandoned. You rebuild faster alone. You don't collapse in failure. You collect data and reload with venom. You don't scream in pain. You smile, because pain means you're close to evolving again. Every scar you carry, it's a barcode, scanned by fate to unlock your next transformation. No one can stop this version of you now. Why not? Because you no longer operate from emotion, you operate from execution. You no longer beg for peace. You walk with power that demands it. You no longer ask for a seat. You dismantle the table, rebuild it with stone, and sit alone if you must. This isn't hunger anymore. This is destiny calling your name in the battlefield reams. You didn't change for attention. You changed because the version of you that settled had to die. And now, the only thing more dangerous than your pain is your peace. Because now you're calm, and nothing is more terrifying than someone calm in chaos. You walk into the fire now, not to prove anything, but because that's where kings are forged. You don't dodge bullets anymore. You absorb impact and reload with strategy. Every setback, fuel. Every insult, blueprint. Every failure, flashlight on your blind spot. They gave up on you. Good. It freed you to stop carrying their expectations and start building your own throne out of every time they underestimated your silence, your solitude, your soul on fire. You're not a soldier anymore. You're a general of your own war. You're not climbing ladders. You're bending from the rubble they left behind. You don't chase approval now. You are the standard others fail to meet. Your name, it echoes now, not because of noise, but because of impact. They told you to slow down. You sped up. They told you to be careful. You became lethal. They told you to stay small. You broke the cage, walked out with fire in your eyes, and never looked back. You didn't just prove them wrong, you became the reason they doubt everyone else now. You don't need a plan B, because plan A is war, and war is what built you. You don't need anyone's light, because you became the fire that scorched every lie they fed you about your limits, your worth, your future. This is the last version of you they'll ever underestimate, because this version no more shrinking. You're done explaining your evolution to those who only understand your old self. You've upgraded, and upgrades don't apologize. Let them fear you now. Let them doubt quietly. Let them gossip, mock, or sabotage. None of it touches you anymore. You're out of reach because you're out of their reality.